I'll get a piece of my printing paper. This one's a little dirty. That's okay though, because this is just the first proof. It's alright, it's a little gross. Alright, and I'll line this up, put it into registration. Notice that the plate is still maybe a little bit damp. That's okay. You want to just make sure that your plate is not wet. It should never be wet during this entire process. It should just be damp. And that water should run up to where the ink is and stop, not overlap it. But it should also not be dry. Where will it dry first? If it starts to dry. Yeah, the edges of what?
The image.
The edges of the image, exactly. It will start to dry right around where the ink is, in all of these little places. And it'll dry in such a way that it's almost imperceptible. You can't even really see that it's drying. And then if you apply ink when it's imperceptibly dry, just around the outside edges of where the ink is supposed to be, then you get a little bit of extra ink happening. And maybe you don't notice it right away, but you continue to do this sort of dry rolling. And you look at your first proof and you look at your last proof, and all of a sudden it is, now it's really perceptible because it's gained so much that all of your detail is gone. You have to make sure that you have exactly the right amount of water on the plate at all times. Not too little, not too much. It's matching exactly the edge of where your printing area stops. Alright, so let me put this into registration. I'm going to drop it up against the T in line with the bar. And the same on this side. Notice the way I pulled the paper taut and dropped it down. That way I wasn't going to have the paper coming in contact with the ink at all and moving it around. And then I want 2 pieces of paper, 2 pieces of newsprint, these backing sheets, and a tin pin. So, Shannon, this is your moment of glory. You want to grab us a tin pin, and it's that sort of brownish, oh, what's that color they refer to as those reddish for shoes? Remember? Cardigan? I can't remember.
The shark skin?
No, it's a color. It's like a maroonish color. That's kind of the color of the tin pins. You want to grab one of those, which is about this big, something like that, and inspect it. Make sure that there aren't any scratches in it, or dings, or holes. That might be all right. Bring it over here. We'll try it out. Let's see. Oh, it's kind of tight. See if we can get one a little bit longer. Yeah. All right. You want one that's a little bit bigger than your plate, including the tape. Okay. I'm just going to check it. I just want to make sure that if I bring this down, yeah, I'm okay. And I'm going to check it on the other end to make sure that it's long enough. Yeah, I'm fine. Okay. So, now I'm going to use this grease. And the grease acts as a lubricant so that the scraper bar can go across the tin pin and not stop anywhere. Placed. In order to get it, see right now it's locked. In order to get it to move, I have to lift up that bar and pull it. And before I get to the scraper bar, I just want to pick up the end of the tin pin so that it lays flat against a piece of granite and it doesn't catch. It's not such a problem right now because there isn't any grease on the scraper bar, but you want to try to keep grease off of the end of the tin pin because you'll be picking it up and moving it around, and before you know it, you'll have grease in your hair, on your sponges, in your face, and unfortunately then on your prints, and that is a problem. Alright, so I have these two arrows lined up. I'm going to send this back to 1622 with this time machine, right, by pulling this down. Okay, uh-oh, I think it's broken. It won't go any further. So I think I'll have to dial this back to, oh, let's go to 1985. That was a good year. Okay, now I can bring it down with ease. And I'm going to tighten this wheel now until I simply cannot tighten it anymore. And then I'm going to bring it back up. And I'm going to spin this wheel clockwise, depending on your strength, either a full turn, a half turn, or 3/4 of a turn. I'm going to go about 3/4 of a turn. And check. Yeah, that's about the ends of my strength. And then over here you'll see there's this little mechanism that you will turn, and it'll click into place. When you hear that click, stop turning. There it is. Before turning this crank would just spin without doing anything. Once I have that engaged, now when I crank this, it will actually move the press bed, and we'll get our pressure. Okay, here we go. I like to sort of spread my legs, get 2 arms on this, and it's like Charlie Chaplin, modern times, what is it, modern something? Modern times, right? Stop at this other arrow. I can feel it coming off of the paper. And I'm going to pull this out, turn it. So now you can see that this spins freely. And release the pressure. Hold the press bed back. Grab the tympan, because you can see the grease on the scraper bar now. You don't want that getting on the end of the tympan. Lift it up. Pull it out. Lock it in place. Carefully lift up my tympan, and I like to place it here. Peel back my 2 pieces of newsprint. And I'm going to take this print off right now, but I'm not going to look at it, and I don't want any of you looking at it either. Okay? So divert your gaze somewhere else. Because what's important now is that I get ink back on this place right now. Back on the plate, rather than spending time looking at my proof. Okay, so, John, will you do me the honors?